I mean, this space barely is going to eke out a gain, and it is barely a pulse, I would suggest. But why do you see that this is about to take a turn?
Well, I think a couple things really jump out to us. One is the group was, definitive leadership in the first half of the year. The sentiment got a little aggressive and frothy and then transitioned to tech. Tech now shares that frothy sentiment and I think needs to cool off a little bit, which we're seeing, frankly. And I think the overall trends in the group are still positive. Valuation, when we look at valuation from a sector-specific basis, is still the most favorable for energy of any sector. So I think this was just a big pause over the last 6 months, consolidating, buying some time, and turning. And I think, one of the areas of this may be an improvement that we're seeing out of China. I know the data and the news flow is bad, but if you look at the chart of the Chinese market, it certainly looks a lot better to us than what the news reflects. It's not a bottom yet. It's not leadership, but it certainly is bobbing along. And I think there might be some upside surprises there as we go forward.
Well, I mean, let's tackle that because the economy is different than the market, number one.
Sure.
And number two, the market may be anticipating more stimulus and easing from the Chinese. That's number two. I think you're hard pressed to make an argument that there's quote unquote, and the word you used, improvement in China, because I don't think many people see any.
Well, in the data, right? And so the question is are the markets anticipating that, to your point? I think what's interesting when we go through and look at the data that we use to get an idea as to where we are in the cycle in China, we're actually in a pretty good spot. It's not the best spot, but some incremental improvement in growth goes a long way there because they really have tackled inflation. Inflation tends to be one of the biggest drivers of the equity markets there, and inflation's in a good spot for the Chinese in terms of the equity performance. So I think there's something to that, and we'll continue to watch it. I mean, I think it is early, but I don't think it's early by a year, and I don't think it's early by 6 months. It might be early by a month or three, but I think it's actually in a pretty interesting zone right here.
Do you think there's more consolidation to come in the fall in technology?
I do. I think, Nvidia trades heavy, Microsoft trades heavy, the response to good news, some of the data that we look at, the commitment of traders data on the NDX in particular shows that large speculators are pretty aggressively positioned in the NDX. They're not usually rewarded right away. They kind of have to go through this cleansing period. So I think we're going to have more of that. Again, I don't think they're tops. I don't think they're excessively dangerous. I just think that you're going to have more shakeout and really just kind of create this apathy in the group that frustrates the bulls. And then I think it's set up all right for the fourth quarter, but I think we're going to have a little bit more of this pain and indecision over the next several weeks here.
I mean, Nvidia is only $35 off of its recent high. That's not that heavy, and you can make the argument after an initial bit of upset on the backside of the earnings report, it's actually stabilized fairly well.
Yeah, in the near term, absolutely. But if you look at the positioning, the skews, the put call data, there's a lot of interest in the upside. And usually that upside gets frustrated if it's that excessive. So I just think, again, 400 is really good support on Nvidia. I think we can trade down to that level. We'd be buyers down at that level. But I do think that there is still a process that we have to go through to digest these earnings. Nothing unusual, nothing bearish, nothing dramatic, but just the time. And a lot of times overbought conditions will correct themselves through time, not price. Those end up being very bullish in the long run, but they are frustrating in the near term.
Well, 400 would get our attention. That's for certain. Jeff, I appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Scott.